You know about Prop 22 in California?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
I do. I'm trying to tell you. But I'm not telling you because I don't know who you are. And you're not ready. You're not ready. Spiritually, you need to become aware that it's a difference between being a good driver and being not a good driver.
Come here! Come here! Come here, you circling ass Ricky! Come here! Come here! Come here, bud!
I'll admit, when nighttime came around, I was concerned for my safety. But I didn't have a problem. I felt safe and it was a good time. My goal was to interview some Las Vegas drivers, but unfortunately, I slept all day. When I went out at night to go find drivers, it was still very slow in Vegas because of COVID. I only came across one driver all night, but then of course, I haven't spent much time at Fremont Street. I found it a pretty fun place. Being right outside my hotel, it was a convenient place to go. There were some young guys that wanted to network with me. They shook my hand. Thank God I had hand sanitizer in my pocket. They tried to offer me their joint. No thanks.
Does anybody else see that? I saw that. Go for it. Have a lucky day. What is it, a one?
Yo, dude. I'm not looking for a ride. You know about Prop 22 in California?
Yep.
What do you think about it? You want to be independent or you want to be a
I think that's not going to work.
contractor?
Not
Well,
gonna
what do you
work
want?
Because the people,
Do you think
the
you'd
people
be
are not going to work like the hours that they want that you work. I find like a contract.
Because you think the hours are going to get messed up.
Exactly.
Thanks, dude.
Sorry.
It's okay. That was a gun though, right?
No, it was a car.
No, that was a gun.
What?
You're an Uber driver?
Used to be.
You know about Prop 22 in California?
Yes, I do.
Do you have any?
Vote no. It's not enough to be a driver. You should be a good driver. What Uber's getting away with is contract violation. Everybody knows it, and they shouldn't be able to get away with it. No on Prop 22 puts the pressure on them to do the right thing. They've had years to do it. They just don't want to.
I was looking for drivers last night to ask. But it was like really late. I did find one guy. He's circling Fremont Street looking for a trip, and I gave him the peace sign.
Yeah, there's money out here. I mean, still, even now, it's busy. You know,
But
people still need rides, but
he was worried about hours, and that's the thing that drives me crazy. I'm just like, at least he'd be getting paid when he's just waiting for a trip. Irony. I give him a peace sign. He pulls over, scrambles to come back because he's trying to get a trip. All that time that he's just like, oh my God, I can't find a trip. Oh, we're gonna leave California. Yeah, please, your most profitable market. Like, come on.
This could end rideshare as we know it, but it's not going to end transportation. People still need rides. People still need drivers. Cars do not drive themselves.
What's that green thing?
That's a.
You guys all have to have that?
Yeah, you got to have a business license here.
You're supposed to have that in LA too, but nobody does it. The LA wants their tax from Uber drivers.
Yeah, it's all about taxes too. It was a few degrees cooler up there.
Wow.
Or two.
In fear of retaliation from the companies, the driver would like to remain anonymous. I came out here to Nevada because I wanted to talk to some drivers about how they feel about Proposition 22 that aren't in California.
Nobody's making you do this, but you're getting screwed over, okay? You're getting screwed over and you're selling yourself short. Your equipment, putting you in debt, is being utilized without being fully paid for because they are using it as though you are owned by them, and you are not. You are an independent contractor.
So we already are employees.
If you're voting, yes, you're voting to continue the status quo, and probably even worse, or they can just do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the government of California is stepping up and actually getting some backbone, protecting the marketplace, protecting against market manipulation.
I get frustrated with the rideshare professor because he wants to talk about that. He wants to see a true contractor model. Because I feel the same way,
Well,
but we're not. It's not where we are.
We're not going to
okay?
get it. I mean,
But
it's going to be
just for a second.
Yeah.
Let's just look at that. Now, how would you see a true contractor model? Like, what would work? Setting your rate.
There must be an offer, okay, and then there must be an acceptance, okay. And if the acceptance is made, a contract is formed. You can say we're contractors, but you don't mean we're contractors, or you're not treating us like contractors. We're not. We have less and less choice. Choice is, like I said, the rule is
we want to drive in an area where we can make more money. You mentioned, and then without being transparent, they have ways of sending off into other areas where we may not want to be.
Yeah, they're doing all kinds of manipulation like this. I mean, there's so many ways that they're getting around it.
Yeah, and they're doing it in a way where the average driver doesn't even realize that it's happening.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The people like.
That's one of the points that you made
saying,
that
hey,
I really wanted to talk to you
money.
about.
Yeah.
There's so many things that are happening to the drivers, and they're completely unaware.
Undermining their value, their true value. The true value of you as a human being is immeasurable. They've reduced you down to $1 a mile.
In most larger cities, they've reduced us down to less than $1.
Less than that, yeah, less than even 35 cents. I mean, come on, it's ridiculous. True independent contractor really is between the riders and the drivers. The company really should just be taking a small percentage.
I love what you're saying, because that's exactly my version.
They're handling the telecommunication.
Of us being a contractor. They try to say, because AB5 is the law in California that's saying that we're actually being treated as employees. Now, and then Uber trying to say, oh no, we're a tech company, we're not a driving company.
Yeah.
Which has already been proven that that's not true. They're a driving company because that's their primary purpose. To make us true contractors is to stop touching our money, have the money go from the people that we're picking up straight to us, allowing us to set our own rates.
I have no problem paying Uber 50% of my fare if I'm getting 50% of value. There's a lot of ways to do it, and it should be some form of negotiation. There should be some form of an association by the drivers to do collective bargaining with the company. There's no formation. They don't want that. They don't want us to negotiate at the table among equals, equitably, to have arrangements for and not just between the riders, or between the drivers and the Uber, by the way, but between the drivers and the riders. The riders are the true employers here because they're the ones who are paying the bill, and they have all kinds of needs, and they should be at the table too. They're stakeholders in this.
They need to be more transparent with what the algorithm is set to do.
And transparency
if the algorithm is gonna, if we drive a certain way, the algorithm is gonna react a certain way, then we need to know that.
Yeah.
So that we can adjust our driving to benefit from the algorithm.
Yeah.
I know this on YouTube. There's a lot of things we know about the YouTube algorithm that can help us get more views and grow our YouTube channel. We don't know anything. I mean, there's a little bit that we know about the Uber algorithm.
Yeah, it doesn't just stop with Uber. It's happening in a lot of these platforms and technologies. And God bless you, Dave, and all the other guys who are out there trying to get the word out and reveal the truth to others, because ultimately the truth sets us free. The truth is the counteracting force.
What we're missing,
I was trying to tell them
is
about
transparency.
So many tools that they have at their disposal they don't want you to have.
Uber wants to be the name that you go to for transportation. So they're not competing with Lyft. They're competing with every form of transportation in the world. If Uber had their way, eventually there would be Uber Airlines, Uber ships. You want to go anywhere, you think Uber. Like, that's their goal.
Right.
And that's why the prices have come down, because they actually are going to make less money the more they lower the prices. But that's not the goal. They're looking way ahead. They're looking, this is a 20-year,
they're looking in the future,
20-year plan, 40-year plan, and that's why things are like this. That's why the rates are so low.
So it's important that we step up and we counteract, and if we don't challenge Uber to become better, then we will be at fault.
Yeah.
Okay, we will be the ones who didn't do the right thing, because we know what's going on.
We're
not against Uber. We're not hateful in any way. Okay, what we are is we are saying
No, I'm very appreciative.
this stuff is wrong. There's some things going wrong out here, okay, that can be corrected easily. They don't take $130 million in a Prop 22. We could do this like that.
You know, I think
okay,
it's
but
interesting.
the will is not there. If the will was there, if the good intentions and the good faith of Uber were there, we could fix all this. It's not there. They are not a good faith counterparty
I think the
of
sudden
the
wind
contract.
is like a sign that you're like on to
Feels
something.
good up here, right?
But you know, Travis Kalanick leaving is very interesting. He sold all of his shares.
Yeah, he's sitting on his
And
money.
initially I was thinking, you know what? He's starting this cloud kitchens business. He wants to just pull away from Uber and start this other thing. And then I realized he's completely separated himself from the company that he founded. There's something to that. He saw something he didn't like.
Yeah, he
Or
knows.
else he would have stayed invested at least partially.
Yeah.
So something's going on there. I don't know what it is though.
I do. I'm trying to tell you. But I'm not telling you because I don't know who you are. And you're not ready. You're not ready. Spiritually, you need to become aware that it's a difference between being a good driver and being not a good driver.
What's a bad driver?
A bad driver is one who's selfish, who only thinks of himself. If you're only thinking of yourself, about how much you're making, Uber's strategy is not a bad one. It's based on efficiency, okay, and quantity. Okay, quantity over quality. So they need more drivers, more rides, more riders, and it's a downward spiral. It reduces the value ultimately of a human being. We want to turn that around. The spin needs to go the other way and to increase the quality of the driver.
When Dara says that they should recruit and allow anybody that wants to drive, and that's a philosophical issue.
Yeah, that's, he's not being truthful
that
there.
shocks me
Yeah.
because I figure, well, what industry does
That's called virtue
is
signaling.
everybody allowed?
He's saying, that
there's-
principle, what he's saying is right, but
but
he's not saying it for
I can't think
for
of a
good reasons.
single type
Yeah.
of industry where anybody that wants to be an employee is welcome.
He's saying it because he has an interest in doing that way,
Right.
So
And what's his interest in
Yeah.
having everybody drive?
to devalue the driver, the services of the driver, make it more affordable.
To have somebody just sitting there doing nothing with the app on, waiting for a trip.
Well, he doesn't care. It doesn't cost him anything.
Because, right, it doesn't cost them anything.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
To have people just sitting there waiting for a trip.
Yeah.
And it benefits them
The more drivers are on.
because all of a sudden, I'm up here in Mount Charleston in the
It's
middle
mo-
of
it's-
nowhere and I got
it's-
my app on, and then suddenly, randomly, unexpectedly, somebody tries to
principle-
order a trip right here.
In principle, I agree
Then
with
they
him.
have a driver there.
In principle,
It makes the system work really well.
No, I actually do agree with him to a degree that anybody who wants to drive, should be able to drive, but the restrictions need to be there to prevent bad drivers. And that the problem with how they're doing that is there's no real due process in far as getting rid of bad drivers. When somebody makes a mistake, there could be a corrective process. This affects people's lives. According to the 7th Amendment, there should be, jury trials should be protected in civil matters. This is a civil matter, and if the price is over $20, so for a 1 ride, 2 rides, okay, somebody you can say you can pay back ill-gotten gains from $20, but when somebody loses their livelihood, that's more than $20, and there should be some jury process, I believe.
And whoever caused that livelihood to be lost is anonymous.
Yeah, and it's not there.
So you
it's
can't
basically
sue
from
them.
the top down. You're out. in the
Why do you
future.
say yes on Prop 22?
Not because I want to be an employee, but
No.
it's not because I want to be an
No.
employee.
We
But-
love the freedom.
But if they're going to treat us as employees, if they're going to treat the drivers as employees, they should obey the laws governing employees.
Yeah.
I believe the way they're operating, they're treating the drivers as their employees.
Just like the you don't have to tip ad campaign. It all started as an ad campaign that drivers is a side gig and that it's not a real job. It's only part-time.
Yeah, that's a
And
lie,
this is the thing
I think.
that drives me the most crazy about what's going on right now in the spin cycle is that they're
Yeah.
trying to say that 80% of drivers, and this is true, 80% of drivers are part-time, but they never say what percentage of the trips are done by full-time drivers. Because you and I both know from
Yeah.
driving for years,
I-
the reward system that they created of bonuses.
Yeah, but-
Oh, thanks. The reward system that they created for bonuses required us to drive full time. So they wouldn't be giving us hundreds of dollars in rewards every week if they didn't need people to drive full time.
I've heard you say that before. I totally 100% agree. I don't have proof though because they hide the numbers. That's another issue.
They did tell CNBC that 1/4 of drivers want to be independent contractors. Somehow CNBC got that out of Uber.
If you're driving out there, God bless you. You're driving in a pandemic. You're not getting appreciated the way you should. Or the front lines, man. Let's try to take an Uber ride right now. Turn it on. You want to?
And then cancel when he gets there and interview him.
Once power is, grasped, it's hard to get rid of. They must be forced. It takes a government like California.
And it is true.
Step in and
I'm talking about.
They're not talking to us.
It is true. Like when people talk about how the only reason this is happening is because the government wants to be able to collect taxes because Uber isn't paying all their taxes, and that's all true. Yeah, this is nice up here. Uber leaving California. What do you think about that?
I think it's a bluff. I mean, even if they do, it doesn't matter. There's going to be other companies that step in. There's already other companies stepping in.
Here I get this car to be an XL driver, and I pay so much more money for gas.
Right. I never thought that was. That's why I drive a Prius.
As an XL driver, I actually make less money than somebody in your car, a Prius.
Yeah. They need to be more forthright in the rates.
Yeah.
And say, look, an XL's worth this in the open marketplace. So many things, man.
Yeah.
Slingshot.
Yeah. Oh.